So now we've gone over the Worksets at a glance kind of principle here using this image, and we'll reference back to this as we go. Moving on down to our notes here, we're just going to go over a little bit of theory here. So I'm just going to kind of go through these points one at a time and elaborate a little bit on them. So to start with, we'll go up here. So number one, in a nutshell, okay, Revit Worksets allow multiple users to work on the same project file at the same time, which equates to big productivity gain, multiple users. It equates to the distribution of Revit skill sets on the project. So your more advanced users can use the objects in the advanced work sets, whereas your junior users can work on lesser critical options. Okay? Now, outside the multi-user access benefits, okay, the benefits of using multi-user, using Worksets basically allows you to break the model up into logical user-defined groups, okay, for lack of a better word of choice. So what happens is you basically break down the model into logical workflow groups, and we'll talk about that as we move on here. So exterior wall, interior walls, floors, roofs, these are all kind of potential work sets. Okay, the value of using Worksets comes blazing through when you're undertaking a large project. First of all, if you're trying to work on a small, little, tiny project with 3 people, it's going to be difficult. You're going to be stepping on each other. So, large project with a large physical model and a large file. Okay, that's when it really starts to help you out. And you have a handful of Revit users available for you. With varying skill sets. So this is where you have a big project, large file, you've got an assortment of user skills, and you need to be productive. That's where this workset concept comes through. Multiple users, varying skill sets, large model files. Okay? Workset allow you to check out a workset. So what happens is you say, I'm going to check out the exterior walls or the floors or the stairs. So you check out a workset and you become the temporary owner of that workset until you relinquish it back to the central file. Okay? You do not need editing access to the entire model all the time. Okay, to do your work, although you can see the entire model using Worksets, and you can borrow elements from Worksets that you're not checking out. For the most part, you only have editing access to the Worksets you've checked out. You can still see all the other stuff, you can align to it, you can reference it, you just can't edit it. Okay? Having the entire Revit model being available for editing, as we all know when we work on our own, makes your computer go slow. Okay, so when your Revit model gets really big, your computer starts to chug along and it goes slow. So that's when you can break it up into work sets. Even if you're a single user, you can break it up into work sets and only make editable the work sets you want, and your computer will actually perform better because not everything is there in memory waiting to be edited. So you don't even have to have multiple users to take advantage of this. Okay, so here's a kind of a typical scenario here. Today I go into work, I'm working on exterior walls on this big project. Okay, you come in, you sit in the next cubicle over, you're managing all the sheets because we have a deadline to print sheets at the end of the day. Someone else is working on the stairs and ramps, they've made some changes to that. A fourth person is managing the links from the other Revit models, structural MEP. Okay, can you see the productivity? Okay, so 4 of us are going at it. One's working on exterior walls, one's getting the sheets ready, one is doing stairs and ramps, someone else is managing the links. Okay, so all of this all taking place at the same time. So now here's a couple of possible workset names. I'm just kind of scrolling my notes up here a little bit. So the first thing on our list here, Here's a few possible workset names. So you're saying, well, what would be in a workset? Give me a typical example. So if you had a big hospital or a school or a shopping center, you could have a wing as a workset, which could be all the doors and windows and everything. It's basically the A wing. So one person's working on A wing, one's working on B wing, one's working on C wing. This is more of a scenario where you would link files in, but you could take one big project file and break it up into 3 worksets. Each workset here has floors, roofs, walls, everything in it, right? That's one scenario. Then we could also have a workset that's basically just called building core, which is where the stairs and the elevators are, maybe the load-bearing walls and the shear walls. Okay, exterior walls, perfect example of a workset. Interior partitions, curtain walls, foundations, views, all the different views, the scale of the views, the size of the views, whether the views are hidden or wireframe or all that good stuff, and the annotation within those views. Okay, the view itself can be in a workset. Furniture is a good workset. Bathrooms, windows, maybe windows on each level, Windows level 1, Windows level 2, doors. Okay, roofs, wing A, roofs sloped, roofs flat. These are all examples of, if you have a big project. Floors and variations of that. Site stuff, obviously a great work set. Sheets, a different work set type. Levels and grids, critical. Most people are not allowed to edit levels and grids. Annotation, okay, your symbology, your size, your project standards. Railings. Egress could be just all the walls and stairs and hallways for getting in and out of the building. Load-bearing walls, maybe just structural walls as a work set. The project standards itself, all the things that go with that. Mechanical, structural, architectural, easy to create these work sets. Level 1 walls, level 2 walls, okay, etc., etc. So any variation, you can literally create your own work set type and simply put the objects in that work set, and that's it. Okay, you can make up your own workflow and logic. Okay, work sets are not just limited to tangible elements like walls and floors and roofs. Work sets can also include things like material definitions, your materials, annotation styles, dimension styles, views, family types. Okay, these are also work sets. Okay, Revit automatically generates specific work sets when you enable it. When you hit the work set button at first, it makes a bunch of work sets. You can't stop it. Just does its thing. Then the rest is up to you how you decide to customize it. Okay. Here's another good use. Worksets allows you to manage the model editing access based on Revit user skill. In other words, junior staff do not get access to critical items like levels and grids. That's in its own special work set, and most people do not check that out. That's only checked out by administrators. Okay, so you can literally, as a CAD manager or BIM manager, you can allocate the work sets to the people who are capable of editing those very objects. Okay, so below are a few pointers on the overview of actually going through the step-by-step process of enabling and using work sets in Revit. If anyone wants to add to this, feel free to send me a note. So I know this isn't everything right in here, but we will go through it when we actually start the videos and get into Revit and do that. So we'll come back and we'll start part 1 of a step-by-step process of preparing and creating the central file.